Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. The time is currently 4:39 p.m. Central, and you have a live look at an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for Sheridan, Wyoming. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Sheridan County. However, at this point, the storm has mostly moved out of the warning polygon and is being left unwarned. However, this storm did dump some massive hail in downtown Sheridan, all the way up to lime size, and we're expecting to see more of that as we go later into this evening in portions of Montana and North Dakota. We have a surprise enhanced risk of severe weather issued for portions of northeastern Montana and western North Dakota here for this evening. This includes the towns of Williston, North Dakota, Sidney, Montana, and Glendive, Montana. This includes a portion of Interstate 94 between Terry, Montana, and Belfield, North Dakota. So if you're in this area, be prepared later this evening for some serious severe storms and maybe even a couple of tornadoes, alright? If we take a look at the tornado risk for today, we can see that if you're in this green shaded area, you have a 2% chance to see a tornado today in your town. All right, now this is going out for a good section of eastern Montana, a little sliver there of northern Wyoming, and then portions of extreme western North Dakota. This includes the cities of Wolf Point, Montana, Glasgow, Montana, Sidney, Montana, Glendive, Montana, Miles City, Montana, Sheridan, Wyoming, Lame Deer, Montana, Hardin, Montana, and Williston, North Dakota. But that's actually not the greatest tornado threat that we have in general for today. We do have a 5% chance to see a tornado within 25 miles of any given point across portions of central and southeast Alabama, extreme southwest Georgia, and parts of the Florida Panhandle and Big Bend regions today in the brown shaded area there. In fact, a brand new tornado watch just got issued for portions of Alabama as we speak. So a new tornado watch has been issued for portions of central Alabama, with the primary threat obviously being a couple tornadoes possible all the way up until 10 p.m. this evening. Now, this is from the remnants of Hurricane Francine that ended up causing hundreds of thousands of power outages and likely some casualties in Louisiana. We're still assessing some of the damage, but it looks pretty bad. Again, sustained winds of 100 miles an hour knocked out power for a significant chunk of the southeastern portion of the state there. So devastating impacts, obviously, and it's continuing actually to cause some isolated power outages all across portions of the southern Mississippi Valley. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Stream Chat. If anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below. I'll try to answer them accurately. And honestly, I will say we did have a storm near Valley Grande, Alabama that was starting to rotate a little bit earlier, Valley Grande. It honestly could have gotten tornado warned, but it didn't, and it has since weakened out as it approached the Statesville area. But we do have a little bit of rotation approaching behind it there near Brantley. But again, this storm has a hook echo and everything, so we'll see if that produces, but it's unlikely at this time. So let me go and get the Stream Chat up here. But again, a new tornado watch just issued. That's why we're live here this afternoon. And again, we've also got that storm there now entering Montana that, again, was previously severe and even considerable at one point. So some pretty interesting stuff. NATOcast, alright, we can go ahead and take a look at their outlook since we went ahead and we took a quick look at the SPC. We'll go ahead and take a look at NATOcast outlook here. We can see that it's actually very similar to the SPC with a 5% tornado risk going out for a good section of central Alabama and then a 2% risk going out for portions of southeastern Montana and far northeastern Wyoming there. So very similar stats there according to both NATOcast and the Storm Prediction Center. NATOcast actually is saying that we're going to have a decent tornado risk for tomorrow as well in a similar area, just pushing a little bit further to the north. And the SPC does currently have a 2% tornado risk going out for portions of northern Alabama tomorrow, so that'd be something to watch out for. And again, right now we are watching Alabama for the most part, and then parts of Montana as well. Yes, Alabama and Montana, we're talking about them at the same time. Pretty wild stuff. So, what's up, Airborne? What's up, Mr. Storm? Good to see everybody out there today. Your NOAA weather radios are down. Yeah, so that's definitely a big problem because this is the region, again, that we're talking about for the tornado threat for today. I know you're not up there in North Alabama, but again, the main threat should remain in central Alabama, hopefully that no outage doesn't go that far south. I didn't know about this outage until you just said that, so thank you for letting me know. But again, this is obviously one of the worst times possible to have that whenever we've got the threat for tornadoes in the area, but hopefully people have multiple ways to receive alerts. So apparently the NOAA weather radios aren't working, and portions portions of Alabama, so you need to make sure that you have another way to receive alerts, if whether it's a mobile phone, tornado sirens, whatever. But in fact, we always prefer for you to have two or more ways to receive alerts. But this time, it's almost a requirement if you want to ensure that you're staying safe here in this situation, right? So we do have a line of storms right now approaching Birmingham, Alabama, and that could definitely bring damaging winds of 50 miles per hour or greater, I'd say. And maybe an isolated QLCS tornado threat. That's what we'd be watching out for with this line as well. Again, that's going to be entering Birmingham here shortly. Currently, it is moving pretty slowly to the north, actually, but it is pushing just far enough eastward to the point where Birmingham will likely get clipped by this. So at this point, we don't even have any severe thunderstorm warnings left, so we can go ahead and say no current warnings in effect in the United States. So there we go. All right. So again, if you're just now tuning in, we are watching a brand new tornado watch just issued for portions of central Alabama. We've also got a severe thunderstorm watch once again going out for a good section of Montana and Wyoming. And again, they are talking about, again, most likely issuing another severe thunderstorm watch later this evening for the north, where the severe threat would be a little bit greater. Yeah, the tornado threat with Francine has not been nearly as bad as it could have been. We weren't expecting it to be anything absolutely insane, but it could have been much worse, especially after the disasters that we had with all the tornadoes from Beryl and Debbie. So again, still some rotation there with our storm nearing Winslow at this point. Again, there is a very definitive hook echo there, so that's something to watch out for. But again, it is kind of a part of this cluster of storms. It's not really discrete, so it's likely not going to produce a tornado within the near future. So, we did have some damaging wind reports out of western Alabama this morning. There were trees down apparently near Cuba, Alabama, right along the Alabama-Mississippi state line. And again, more potential for damaging winds will exist later into this evening as we can continue to see multiple lines of storms pushing northeastward here in portions of central Alabama. Again, Birmingham about to get in on quite a bit of action. Montgomery, it's not going to be too long until you see some of that stuff. We actually had some supercells developing near Montgomery, Alabama earlier, but they did not end up producing tornadoes or anything, so yeah. Yeah, the SRH was lacking. We did have a crap ton of wind shear out here. That's for sure. Which did end up killing our hurricane quite quickly, I'll say that much. Again, at this point, it's not even a tropical depression anymore. I know it says it is right here on the Radar Omega website. I don't know why, the app. I don't know why it's saying that this is still at the 10 a.m. update. We have a new update at this point. The 4 p.m. update, Central Time, that is. And again, at this point, it's not even a tropical depression. I mean, it died out so quickly. It's a post-tropical cyclone. Francine, at this point, actually, is all the way up here. You can still see it really does just look like an extremely weak tropical storm. But it is causing some heavy rain in portions of western Tennessee, western Kentucky, southeast Missouri, northeast Arkansas, northwestern Mississippi. And that's going to continue to push northward here, bringing more rain to eastern Missouri and western Illinois over the next couple of days. But for the most part, that would be the only thing to watch out for, other than the tornado threat again back down in Alabama. But nothing too crazy at this point, as you could imagine. So let's continue to watch our storm here. I do think that they could give this a tornado warning near Winslow soon, so that would be something to watch out for. You've seen no rain today. Yeah, again, most of the rain staying south of your region, though. You could see some rain later this evening if this line does continue to push northeastward. You could see some intense storms, actually, if that were to happen, if they maintain their intensity and strength. But it's hard to say whether that will happen or not, although it's definitely a possibility. Yeah, it was a conditional tornado risk. Again, we weren't for sure how this was going to play out. And, I don't want to be that person that calls it a bust, 4 hours before the event's over. Because, again, we just got the tornado watch. We could see tornadoes, all the way until, 10 p.m. tonight, is what the tornado watch states. And they may even have to issue one after that. So we can't really say that it's a bust quite yet. Again, we can say that it hasn't started off super strong, but things could definitely change. Yeah, I did see that the Climate Prediction Center, or the Weather Prediction Center, has a moderate risk out for excessive rainfall here for parts of northern and central Alabama, mainly centered around that Birmingham region there. And then tomorrow, we've got ourselves another moderate risk as well for portions of central and northern Alabama again, with, you guessed it, Birmingham included. And then going all the way into Saturday, we're still going to have a slight risk across pretty much the same area that we're going to have here for the next couple of days, just no moderate risk. So, a little bit less of a flash flooding threat as we go into this weekend, but it's still going to be there for sure. Again, still a tiny tornado threat remains into tomorrow, and maybe early Saturday, but again, I don't really think Saturday should be anything too intense, Francine, or otherwise, honestly. Severe weather right now in the country has kind of been in a lull for weeks. Hasn't been anything too crazy. We haven't really seen anything crazy since those PDS tornadoes in the Dakotas. A lot of the events have been busts as well, where we were expecting them to be big-time tornado producers, like that event that we were expecting to be big in the upper western Midwest for tornadoes. Nothing much happened. And that was right before the Dakota PDS event, so. Anyway. Okay, we'll keep watching all this here over the next several minutes, see how things progress. We do have Tropical Storm Elena now developed. I believe that's how you pronounce it, in the eastern Pacific, and that's going to impact portions of Baja California. So, your local weather channel saying you could get a foot of rain, that is just terrible. You need to dump that channel right now. Yes, we also have a tropical depression out there in the Atlantic, Tampa area. Again, Tropical Depression 7. We are thinking this will turn into Tropical Storm Gordon, but mainly just be a fish storm. So, nothing too much to worry about there. But yeah, there's no way that Huntsville sees a foot of rain. Gonna check the GFS for interesting troughs. Alright. You can't hear? Is my audio working fine? I'm assuming it is. We haven't gotten any other comments about that yet, or any messages. It's a you problem? Gosh, this area brings back bad memories. If you know, you know. January 2023. You know how devastating that would be if we saw another tornado through this area. So we can go ahead and go over some of the timings for today. If we go ahead and take a look at the HRRR here, the newest run is just now coming in. But if we take a look at the 19Z, let's go ahead and change things over to the composite reflectivity. We can see that we have an absolute ton of just little thunder showers, annoyances out there in southwest Montana, and those actually could bring some snow later tonight into the peakity, tippity tops of the excuse me. The peak tippity tops of the mountains there in southwest Montana, as I like to say. But you can see that the HRRR was saying that we would have supercells firing by now, and we do have one, again, in southeast Montana, but it's nothing big. It's not. So 6, 7 p.m., we're thinking that we continue to see more of these supercells progress northeastward. Again, 7 p.m. would probably be the greatest time frame for any sort of severe weather threat. And then 8 to 9 p.m. doesn't look too uninteresting either. I think that we could definitely see some supercells along the Montana and North Dakota state line. But by midnight, things are pretty much clearing out of the United States. This becomes a Canada issue, and really, not even Canada has too much to worry about with that. So, nothing too crazy. Francine, again, is going to continue to become more unorganized over the next several hours. So, nothing serious going on in that regard either later tonight. I guess the Northern Plains event is going to be pretty big, but not Francine. Again, at worst, I think that Francine brings a tornado or two to central Alabama tonight, and that would be it. And they're not going to be like strong, violent tornadoes either. This is not a Debbie barrel situation. Supercells in Italy dropped softball-sized hail. That's insane. See, that's a tricky question because I do think that they're a possibility. Again, it all just depends if this line does break up. If we get one of these storms to, be by themselves, then yes, it will become a supercell quite easily. But right now, there's nothing that we can definitively say is a supercell, so. If there were any supercells, it would just be like a central and southern Alabama problem, though, so. I don't know why they have the slight risk going all the way into Florida. Florida is not going to see any tornadoes today. They saw some damaging winds in the water spouts this morning, but no sort of tornado threat at all, really, in Florida today. Again, we could have had a water spout make it to land here earlier today near Miramar Beach, Florida. There were reports of wind damage in the area, too, so it's a good possibility, it is. But it's not confirmed if that made it to land or not, so at least not at this time. Yeah, I don't either. I don't know what they were thinking whenever they're like, you know what? We should put a slight risk all the way into the Big Bend. Like, I don't see... Like, if we just look at the HRRR, we can do it right now. We can debunk this slight risk down here. Whoops. Not with that run, we can't. The 19Z. Look at this. We got thunderstorms, sure, but those are not supercells. Those are not going to produce tornadoes, so why does the 5% go that far? And, yeah, sure, we could see some supercells tomorrow, but that's tomorrow, not today. Well, yeah, in extreme northern Alabama, they cut the 5% out, so. So let's go back up here briefly to Montana to check up on some of these supercells developing. They're developing, there's just not great radar coverage out here, so it's hard to see exactly what they look like. And yeah, it really is a shame that there's not great radar coverage out here because people say this region doesn't see severe weather. That's just not true. During the summer, we get events like this, as you saw this year, like almost not every day this big, but we get marginal risk most days. Watching from Bessemer, Alabama. Let's see here. Bessemer, Alabama. Yeah, so you're in the slight risk of severe weather. You're getting some rain right now. You're going to get in on some thunderstorm action here within the next couple of minutes. Maybe some heavy rain. Probably not even going to be that much lightning, though. But yeah, some heavy rain, some gusty winds, so make sure to look out for that. I'd be getting indoors now. It's about to start raining pretty hard, most likely. Thank you for tuning in, Clyde. But, that's the deal right now for that region. Tomorrow seems like it could be bigger. I don't think so. I think it'll be similar to today, if not a little bit less active. But we could see an isolated tornado maybe into like eastern Alabama and western Georgia especially, I think would be the hot spot there. Do think they could push this marginal risk a little bit further northeastward here. So we'll see. Again, 2% tornado risk right now for tomorrow within 25 miles of any given point. But yeah. So this storm's really falling apart again. It got swallowed by all the other little storms out here near Prattville, so I'm not going to do too much, which is good. Because, again, this area has a rich tornado history, especially in recent years. But, you know what? That could be said with almost anywhere in Alabama, so... A little bit of rotation on a couple of our storms near Selma, but again, it's nothing enough to produce a tornado or anything. As of right now, it doesn't look like that anyway. So this is interesting. We got a pretty big storm developing near Wolf Point, Montana. It almost looks like, though, by the time that this is going to do anything in terms of a tornado threat, it's going to exit the country. Actually, it has been going for quite a while with damaging winds and large hail, it looks like. But, wow, it's been going for a long time. Like, all day, pretty much. But, yeah, it's racing out of the country. It's going pretty fast to the north, so... Again, no sort of risk for Saturday. I think if anything, maybe like a marginal risk, but even that's iffy. That's really not something we need to worry about at this point in time. So again, Saturday should be a bit more tame. So that's good. Again, it's just not an active, severe weather pattern that we're in right now. I think that things could start to ramp up a little bit soon, but I still don't think it's going to be anything like what we saw this spring, obviously. But, you know, how could it be? I mean, this spring was insanely active, so that's really not saying too much. No, but I don't think we'll have any big severe weather threats other than maybe in the southeast over the next several days. And I'm not just talking about Francine. Was. Tornado risk for today, honest risk. Nothing, like, if you're asking me, I'd say nothing super significant. If I were, okay, let's do this. Let's go into the Davis Does Weather tornado outlook. If I were drawing this, I would put a 2%, tomorrow? What? Oh, you went today. Yeah, so today, if I were drawing this, I would have a 2% going out for this area here in the green shade. And that's it. I wouldn't put like a 5%. Honestly, would not issue a tornado watch. I don't really think that's necessary. I would also have a 2% going out for parts of Montana and maybe western North Dakota, but nothing crazy. I don't think we really needed that 5%. And again, I don't know how we have an enhanced risk for... And it's a hatch, too. It's a 30% hatch for damaging winds. I mean, there's just no way that was warranted. Maybe isolated gusts up to 70 mile an hour winds, but whenever we see 30% hatch risks, I mean, that's whenever we start talking about derecho potential, and we just don't have that today. Not even close. So... might have had a few water spouts with those special marine warnings. We probably had a ton of water spouts today, dude. We had a ton of water spouts yesterday, I'll tell you that much. And that flash flooding in New Orleans after I ended my last stream, that was wild. Can't wait for it to start feeling like fall in the holiday season. Yeah, I do think that it's going to stay summer-like for a while. If we just look at the GFS, alright, let's look at temperature-wise. We can see... it's going to be hot, especially in your neck of the woods, for quite a long time. I don't really think we're going to see any sort of major cool down soon. But it's not going to be unbearable. So, look on the bright side. Things are slowly but surely getting a little bit cooler here. In fact, over the next few days, it might feel quite nice. Had all that rain, cool air from Francine. But soon it's going to get quite, not miserable again, but it's going to be hot. So... look at composite reflectivity 23Z. What model is 23Z out? That hasn't even happened yet. Look at this. The end of the GFS is showing a massive cooldown for the Rockies. We're getting close to the single digits in Wyoming. In September, that's kind of wild. A triple R. There is no 23Z yet. There's a 20Z. Talking about yesterday? I don't know what you mean by here. I don't know. Oh. Okay. I'm not a very smart man. I know it goes out 18 hours. $23Z, that would be right here. In Montana. Yeah, those supercells in eastern Montana, yeah, we did go over that, and again, by like 6 and 7 p.m., they get more intense. 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Well, Pivotal Weather will give you the same information. It's the same models. But I'm waiting for some of these thunder showers. I'm waiting for it to cool down out here. These are going to turn into snow showers later tonight again. I'm ready for that, dude. We're getting an early taste of winter in the Pacific Northwest this year. Go ahead. You can send a link if you want. Yeah, so far this has been a pretty huge nothing burger. But again, we've got time, so. Again, things will pick up, perhaps, but we're hoping that this is just a big bust. Even if it is a bust at this point, I mean, it's not a huge bust. I mean, like I said, we had Lime-sized hail in Sheridan. We did have, again, some waterspouts today, damaging winds in Alabama and Florida. So, it's not the biggest bust we've ever seen, that's for sure. Yeah, the line's falling apart pretty significantly. Again, it will impact Birmingham soon, now getting to the far western suburbs of Birmingham. But, yeah. Vince Welty right now, he's at the beach. Oh crap, I can't bring up his stream. I always do that. Oh, and there we go. So, severe thunderstorm warning now in southeastern Montana for our storm that was originally impacting northeastern Wyoming, with that lime-sized hail again. Now, ping pong ball-sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. So, we'll kind of get back into a little bit more of a serious mode here. So, again, this is actually a pretty intense storm. So, if you're in this area, make sure you are moving indoors and away from windows immediately. This severe thunderstorm warning is going out for portions of southeastern southern Rosebud and west central Powder River counties in southeast Montana. People and animals outdoors may be injured. Expect hail damage to roofs, siding, windows, and vehicles. Expect wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. There's no major population centers in this area. King Mountain is here. This storm is north of Otter. So, if you know where Otter is, we're north of there. But obviously, there's not a lot of big towns out here in the mountains of Wyoming, or Montana, rather. Not a big surprise there. But, again, this storm is continuing to just show its strength there. It is a pretty decently strong storm. This is one of the ones that the HRRR was showing popping up, and it did, and it's quite strong, so we'll watch it. It's had some rotation for a while, but it's hard to say because we're looking so far into the atmosphere there. Yeah, I don't know about decent rotation, but there's a little bit of rotation for sure. For a while there, they honestly could have put a tour possible tag on it or even a tornado warning, so I don't know. At this point, it's not that impressive, though, like you said. Bleak. So if this storm does continue going in the same direction here, let's see, what's the recent track of this thing look like? So, north-northeast. Crap, how fast is it moving? I forgot to check. I always do that before I measure it out. Okay, so 45 miles an hour. So let's see here. Is this really going to be impacting anybody over the next little while? So Stacy, this is going to be over you in 38 minutes. There's not even a town called Stacy on this map, so I don't know where they're getting that from. I guess there is one. There's a low population center. Again, it's not a town. It's a couple of buildings here. Colwood, you've got about 51 minutes. Volberg, 55 minutes. And Beebe in 75 minutes. So there you go. If we take a look at the vertically integrated liquid signatures, we can probably see some interesting stuff. Yeah, we have a maxed out signature there, which is usually indicative of quarter-sized hail or larger. Guess it's not technically maxed out, but it's pretty darn close. And also, again, we're super far from the radar, so it's a little underestimated, potentially. Again, earlier this thing was maxing out, so whenever I hit Sheridan, it was at its strongest, funnily enough. Of course, right whenever it was going over, like, the only real city out here in northeast Wyoming. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit more active. A new severe thunderstorm warning, considerable, just issued in northeastern Wyoming, going out for Clearmont, golf ball-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. If you're in this area, make sure that you are moving indoors and away from windows immediately. That puts our severe warning counter up to 2. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning in Montana and a severe thunderstorm warning in Wyoming for anybody just now tuning in. Again, this is our more concerning storm right now near Clearmont because it's a more populated area, and according to the statistics put out by the National Weather Service on our warnings, it's a more powerful storm, so we'll watch this one a little bit closer. But Clearmont, again, you could see a direct impact from this. And Clearmont is a little town here. It's nothing big, but it's one of the only towns out in this area. So, again, that will be approaching you within the next 15 minutes or so. You'll definitely be experiencing some intense hail. Have I seen the trough on the GFS on the 17th? Let me look at that. Just briefly here. I do see that, yeah. So, hold on. Wow, yeah, on the, again, you wouldn't normally look at the 250 for something like this, but you can see it quite clearly there pushing through. That could bring some severe weather. So, we'll see. Yeah, that definitely could actually bring some significant severe weather. That's a pretty decent trough. And again, that is a little bit far out, but it's not like far enough to the point where it would be completely inaccurate. I don't think so. Predictability too low. Yeah, that's usually a sign of we don't know if there's going to be severe weather, but there might be. So, what's up, B-Dog? Okay, if you're just now tuning in, we're watching an ongoing severe weather outbreak across parts of Montana and Wyoming. So far, it's been a pretty big nothing burger, but we're just now starting to see a pickup in activity. Clearmont, Wyoming is currently getting impacted by a massive hailstorm here, or they're about to be anyway. Again, if you're in Clearmont, we want you to get indoors and away from windows, because this sucker is going to definitely do some damage here, I think, to some isolated locations. Hopefully this stays west of Clearmont, but we'll see. Yeah, we've also got that storm there that is near King Mountain, but nobody lives out here. Literally nobody, so. It's not like, oh, there's a house here and there's a house there. I mean, literally nobody. These are not houses. There's no way. I guess they could be little cabins, but, yeah, I don't know. By the way, just a reminder, make sure that you are caught up with the stream here. If you put your stream into 2x speed, it'll catch you up until the current point, and then it'll automatically slow it back down whenever you're there. So just do that quickly if you have not already. Just make sure that you are keeping up with the current time. Let's see here. Do we have any new info from the SPC? Yeah, we actually do. So a new severe thunderstorm watch again is likely very shortly, actually. For parts of northeastern Montana and northwestern North Dakota within the next hour, we're likely going to see a severe thunderstorm watch here. Severe potential will gradually increase in the next few hours. A severe thunderstorm watch is likely within an hour or so. So, look out for that. Look at a quick update here on Alabama. A little bit of rotation developing near Billingsley. That's the storm that has been rotating broadly for a while, actually. Could be picking up a little bit. And there's definitely a little bit of rotation there, and there has been for quite a while, so we'll watch it. Brad Arnold, Corey Gerken, and Brandon Kopic are all relatively close to that storm, if not in it, so. You think Gordon heading towards the USA or heading to the north? If it even makes it that long, it will head north. There's absolutely no way that this makes any sort of United States impact. I can promise you that Gordon will not make a United States landfall. Again, we don't even know if it's going to, last that long. It's not going to be a strong system whatsoever. It's barely even going to be able to earn the title tropical storm. So, So a live look from Baldwin County School District. See that rain coming down there? It looks like they have like some sort of practice or something going on. Some sort of cross-country practice, maybe, something like that. So again, Birmingham, I know we've been saying this for a while, but it is going to start raining here shortly if it's not already raining in your part of town. Again, right now, some rain falling likely in the far western Birmingham suburbs here, like Edgewater, Mulga, and Fairfield. Yes, we do have a considerable severe in Wyoming. We've had it for a while. So, this has been a long stretch of time where we've had nothing going on this stream, but things are picking up once again, so we'll watch things for a little bit longer here. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying this. I hope you guys are. It's fun to have one of these more chill, laid-back streams. Yeah, I'm kind of tired. I've had a long day. Long day. Not necessarily a bad day, but a long day, if you know what I mean. Alright, just so that we can keep things fun and entertaining for you guys, let's do some polls. Do you think that we'll have another tornado emergency this year? And start poll. So let's see the votes coming. I'm interested to see your guys' perspective. We'll have you guys tune in and give your answers, and then I'll give my opinion. So far, yeses. Well, yeah, I know there's no accurate way to predict it, but that's part of the fun, right? I'm not expecting you to do any research behind this. Just an educated guess. So we've got still votes coming in. I'll wait here for a little bit. But I think that things are probably done for the most part. So 80% of people said, yes, we will have another tornado emergency this year. That's interesting. I don't think we will. I just don't. Now, here's what I will say. If we do get another tornado emergency this year, it will be in early December, and it will be in the mid-Mississippi Valley. There's no science to back that up, but Mayfield, Hendersonville, December 9th and December 10th, those are the days where we will just have some sort of severe weather in the mid-Mississippi Valley. So let's do another poll here. We'll say another Category 5 hurricane this year. Atlantic or Pacific. Go wild. Can you guys answer, and then I'll give my personal opinion. Yeah, Tropical Storm Gordon is going to develop soon, but it's not going to do much. It's definitely not heading for the United States, that's for sure. So far, everybody's saying yes. Wow. Everybody that has voted so far has said yes. So we'll wait here for a couple more minutes, wait for the votes to come in. Got a no in there. December 8th. Well, yeah, if we were going by that logic, December 8th, 2025, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi would see a tornado outbreak. Here's why I say that. December 10th, 2021. December 9th, 2023. December 8th, 2025. So, no sort of signs to back that up whatsoever, but, just one of those feelings that you get. So, 67% of people said, yes, we will have another Category 5 hurricane this year. I don't think we will. I don't think that it's in the cards. We are already at peak hurricane season. The GFS is showing nothing that would even come close to resembling a Cat 5 over the next couple of weeks. And I don't think that another Category 5 is likely. I don't. I wouldn't completely rule one out, but this hurricane season has not been that active. We have only had one Category 5 in the Atlantic. I don't think it's going to happen. So let's do another poll. I kind of like this. Cat 5, yes. Tori, maybe. No, I mean 2025. So let's do, okay, I got a good one. I got a really good one. This will be a fun one. We're going to say another PDS tornado watch this year, yes or no? Again, PDS standing for particularly dangerous situation. It's a high-end tornado watch. I know it's 2024. I already explained why we'd have 2025. I'm not an idiot, I promise. I already explained why it would be in 2025. Let's do a twisted poll, perhaps. I don't know what I would ask, though. So, we'll see. Alright, see you, B-Dog. Wow. So, we'll wait for a couple more votes to come in, but right now, the poll is leaning just barely to no. Yeah, no, today is not a PDS tornado watch. Oh, you're talking about Twisted? I don't know if I have time to do a Twisted stream, because there's going to be a lot of severe weather. Alright, so 67% of people said no, we will not have another PDS tornado watch this year. I don't think we will either. I think the chance that we get a PDS tornado watch is about the same that we see a tornado emergency. Usually those events kind of go hand in hand. We usually don't see a tornado emergency without a PDS watch, and we usually don't see a PDS watch that doesn't have a tornado emergency. And that's not fact or anything, but that's just, it's kind of how it works out most of the time, so. Yeah, maybe this weekend, though, Blake. So let's do one more poll here. What should we do? We'll say first winter storm warning in the United States. And then we'll say, okay, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do it by weeks. Okay. So, third week of September, fourth week of, oh, okay. Maybe we'll do it another time then, Blake. Fourth week of September or later. November 2nd? This is a winter storm warning, guys. It's not a blizzard warning. We already have winter weather advisories, which sometimes are the precursors to winter storm warnings. We already had several of those this year. By the way, new severe thunderstorm warning in Montana. It's an extension for our storm. Ping pong ball size tail, 60 mile an hour winds. Stacy, move indoors and away from windows immediately. You're getting rainfall now? Yeah, I imagine so. Again, Birmingham's starting to get in on that line of storms there, finally. On the west side of town, once again. Yeah, it's probably raining pretty hard. And Bessemer. Is that how you pronounce that? Let me know. All right, we're going in that poll then. So that one was split down the middle. I think that it will be. I think that it'll be the last week of September. The 23rd through 30th, I think, is the most likely there. Which is funny, because that was the least picked one. You should scroll around Tornado Archive sometimes as photographs from historic events and what. Yeah, I use Tornado Archive. I looked through it. I did a random tornado outbreak documentary thing that one time through Tornado Archive. So, yeah. I know what winter, or, why did I say winter? I was thinking of winter storm warnings. I know what Tornado Archive is, but yeah. So again, we're just chilling right now. This has honestly been the most inactive stream that has lasted this long in the history of this channel. Like, I don't think we've ever had a stream this long with this few severe thunderstorm warnings before. We've had 3, well, 4. There was one in effect for a few minutes just as we were ending, but the storm was already pre-severe, below severe limits at that point, so that doesn't really count. But anyway. So again, I do think that we'll get a new severe thunderstorm watch here soon. In northeast Montana and northwestern North Dakota, potentially. Things are looking pretty interesting as these storms continue to push northeastward. So we'll see. We'll see indeed. Chad, do you guys want post-tropical cyclone Francine footage? Because this is going to hit my area with probably about a 1/4 inch of rain. Would you guys want footage from that? Maybe just like a YouTube short? Because it's not going to be anything crazy. Some rain, maybe an isolated lightning strike. That would be it. Just let me know. Maybe I'll probably just do a YouTube short. Did a little compilation whenever I got hit by Debbie in Michigan. Not United States, California, though. We're talking Baja, California. Mexicali region. So again, so far it's kind of been one heck of a nothing burger. But things are picking up just in the slightest little bit. I keep almost bringing that up on accident. Does the remains of Francine have lightning? Just a little bit. Hurricanes usually don't have that much lightning in general, but just a couple of strikes. You can see several here in Tennessee, so that's interesting. And wind shear just ripped this thing apart so fast. It's so weak now. I mean, it's literally just going to feel like rain from this point forward for those that get hit by it. It's just going to feel like a rainy, dreary day. No wind, no lightning, no hail, no tornadoes, just some rain. Now I'm not talking about like Alabama, that's a different story. I'm talking about the areas out ahead of this thing. It's looking like they're going to let go the severe thunderstorm warning in Wyoming here. The wind's been crazy there, I imagine. You're in the marginal risk there, so let me know what you see. Maybe an isolated tornado threat. Shouldn't be anything major, though. Again, not even Central Alabama is having a huge tornado threat, and that's where the threat's greater, so nothing wild. In southeast Alabama is probably the most likely corridor for tornadoes later this evening. This area in particular, and that'd be later tonight, once again, but and right now that area's not even seeing any rain, hardly. But we've got some little thunder showers. Brief bursts of heavy rain popping up here in the western part of the Florida Panhandle. So that's interesting enough. And there we go. They did just go ahead and issue that new severe thunderstorm watch, and wow, it's a big one. Okay, we're going to bring this up on your screen. This is breaking news, everybody. A massive severe thunderstorm watch, not in size, but with the intensity, for northeast Montana and western North Dakota just issued. Scattered hail up to ping pong ball size possible. Frequent lightning possible. Nothing crazy, but then you see scattered gusts up to 85 miles per hour likely. And that is saying scattered likely. That's not just saying we'll see an isolated gust up to 85 miles an hour, which would already be significant. That is saying that we could see several instances of 85 mile per hour gusts. In fact, it's likely. So that's a pretty big deal there. I was not expecting that to be such a high-end severe thunderstorm watch in terms of the wind threat, but it was. So if you're in that area, make sure that you are prepared to seek shelter if necessary. We could definitely see some destructive storms later tonight, so we'll keep you guys posted, but I do think that we're going to go ahead and end off this live stream here since things are no longer active whatsoever, but I do want to thank you all for tuning in. Will I return a Geometry Dash? I might, honestly. But yeah, I do want to thank you all for tuning in, and